Every time I tried to put on size, I always ended up getting chubby, adding too much face fat, feeling bloated, having brain fog, and just not feeling or looking the way that I wanted. And the frustrating part was that I was consistent in the gym and I was doing what I thought was right at the time. I was not lazy, I was not inconsistent, but it was obvious I was missing something. But once I finally changed a few key things and started doing less with more intention, I added muscle in all the right places. And I didn't gain any fat. Today I sit around 10-12% body fat and I maintain a lean, muscular, aesthetic physique all year round. I work 50-60 hours a week and I'm still able to do this. So if you keep adding too much fat every time you try and get big, and if you've been training consistently and your physique still doesn't look the way you want it to, and you're a busy, high-performing guy and you want to finally add muscle quickly without gaining fat so that you can have an attractive, lean physique and be confident and sharp in every room that you walk into, pay attention and watch this through until the end. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 changes that I made that allowed me to build more muscle without having to bulk. Not slowly, not over years, but very quickly. The first thing you need to know is that muscle is built in the recovery. It's not built in the gym. Doing more volume is not actually going to help you build more muscle, but prioritizing recovery will. When you're in the gym, all you're really doing is tearing your muscle fibers. And the muscle growth happens when you recover. During the recovery process, those muscle fibers grow back and they grow back bigger. And that's how muscle is actually built. So if you're not recovering properly, you're not going to grow. The training structure I recommend you follow is 4 days a week. Nothing more, nothing less. Each session should be no longer than 45 minutes as long as you're intentional about what you're doing. 45 minutes, 4 days a week, that's only 3 hours out of your week that you should actually be in the gym. More time does not mean more gains. There's plenty of reasons why 4 days is optimal. Number one, you're getting adequate rest in between sessions, which is allowing your muscles to repair and grow back bigger. Now that you're prioritizing recovery, you're gonna have much higher energy when you're in the gym and you're gonna be able to lift a lot heavier. You're also gonna have high energy throughout the day. When you're in the gym, you will have stronger lifts, which will allow you to prioritize progressive overload, which is where you're increasing the weight every single week, ensuring that you're getting stronger and building the muscle that you want to build. And 4 days a week is just easier to stay consistent, especially when you have a busy schedule. If you schedule a workout for Monday and a business meeting comes up, you can easily push that to Tuesday and still complete the 4-day structure within a 7-day time span. Trust me, brother, more is not the answer. There was a time where I was training 6 days a week and I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see. And it was very frustrating and very discouraging and it almost made me want to give up. But the real issue is that you're doing too much right now and you're just spinning your wheels. If you're training more than 4 days a week, you're spiking your cortisol and you're ruining your recovery. That's why you feel so stressed all of the time. You're also a lot more fatigued when you're training and just throughout the day. When you're not getting adequate amounts of recovery, obviously you're not going to be able to push as hard as you need to be in the gym. And that's probably why you look flat or your gains have just stalled out. A big part of changing your physique is changing your mindset. So I need you to shift some beliefs that you currently have about getting big. If I train more, I'll just grow faster. That's wrong. No, if you recover more, you'll grow faster. I don't feel like I've done enough. No. As long as you are intentional, growth does not come from exhausting yourself. It comes from being intentional about what you do. I need to be in the gym 5-6 days a week. No. That is your ego, brother. Focus on intention. Quality sessions plus quality recovery equals more muscle in less time. Which brings me to my next point. It's not volume that's going to help you grow. It is the quality of your sessions, the intention behind what you're doing, and focusing on hypertrophy. It's not about what you do. It's about how intentional you are about what you do. The rep range I want you to focus on is 6 to 8 reps. Focusing on hypertrophy, focusing on form, control, and time under tension. Explode up with the weight and control on the way down. The more time you spend under tension, controlling what you're doing, the better output you're gonna get. Also, you should be pushing until failure, but failure doesn't mean dropping the weight on your head. Failure is when your form compromises. So if you're doing bench press and you get 6 to 8 clean reps, but on that 9th rep, you start tweaking your back and doing this, that's failure because you're risking injury, number one, but now you've lost the most important factor, which is time under tension and the actual contraction in your muscle. You're also putting yourself at high risk for injury, and if you get injured, you're out of the game. We want to be healthy and we want to preserve longevity. The reason 6 to 8 reps is so optimal is because it's heavy enough to stimulate growth, but just enough reps to focus on control and contraction. It's the ideal balance of intention, time under tension, and volume. Next, you should be focusing on compound lifts. Compound lifts are lifts that target multiple muscle groups at one time. So squats, bench, pull-ups, rows, overhead press. Hitting multiple muscle groups at once is going to create maximum muscular tension. This will help you build size overall efficiently. For example, a squat hits your quads, it hits your glutes, it hits your core, it hits your spinal control. It's very optimal because you're hitting so many muscle groups at once. Now, when you're in the gym, you should also be focused on progressive overload. This means every single week you're trying to beat yourself from the week before, increasing the weight or increasing the volume. As long as you're lifting more than you did the previous week, it's going to force your your muscles to grow. Now, the limiting beliefs that I want you to shatter. You think you need more exercises. What you actually need is better reps. If you don't feel as sore as you did, that's okay. It's actually a good sign. It's a sign that you're getting the recovery that you need. Failure is not dangerous as long as you're doing it the way I said. It's when your form breaks down, that's failure, not dropping the weight on your head. The mindset you should have is stimulate, grow, recover. When you understand the intention behind what you're doing, the results come. When you're in the gym, you're stimulating your muscle. When you're out of the gym, you're focused on recovery. Do that and you will grow. Do not annihilate your muscle groups, burn yourself out, because then you'll lead to a plateau. My third point, do not do cardio, instead just get steps in. The reason cardio is not optimal is because it's gonna spike your cortisol, which is gonna mess up your recovery. You're wasting calories on cardio that you need to be spending in the gym for growth, and it's gonna compete with your hypertrophy adaptation. It's also gonna lower your libido and give you low energy. Instead, just get steps in. Roughly 7,000 to 8,000 a day is adequate when you're trying to add size. This keeps your insulin sensitivity high. The higher your insulin sensitivity is, the easier it is for you to take the calories that you eat and convert it into muscle as opposed to fat. Steps also don't tax your nervous system, so you're keeping your cortisol level low, your stress levels low, and allowing recovery to be optimal. Insulin sensitivity is one of the most important things when it comes to adding muscle without getting fat. When your insulin sensitivity is high, your carbs go to your muscle, your glycogen stores refill properly, your pumps will drastically improve, and you'll have less fat storage, which is what you want, right, bro? Getting 7 to 8K steps with a busy schedule is actually way easier than you might think. I was able to do this with ease when I was working 60 hours a week. I would set a timer at work for every 1 to 2 hours where I'd go for a walk around my office building for 5 to 10 minutes. You can even walk after your meals. Go for a 5-10 minute walk after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I also utilize my lunch breaks at work to get steps in after I ate. You can also get a walking pad if you work from home. It's like $100 and you can just walk while you work. When you break your steps into blocks, it's very easy to get them and it's so sustainable. The belief I want you to shatter is that you need cardio to get lean. That's not true. What you really need is to maximize your insulin sensitivity. And if you think steps won't do enough, you're wrong. This is exactly what you need to make the gains that you want. Cardio is going to compete with your growth, where your steps will actually complement your growth. Point 4, do not dirty bulk. Follow the 90-10 rule instead. Building muscle does not mean eating like an idiot. When you dirty bulk, you're gonna have excess fat gain, you're going to lower your insulin sensitivity, you're gonna have to do longer cutting phases post-bulk, and you're gonna have a puffy look instead of a dense, full look. You're also gonna experience a lot of brain fog, low energy, and low libido when you dirty bulk. The smart way to do this is 90% whole foods and 10% whatever you want. Make sure the whole foods that you're eating are foods that you genuinely enjoy so that you can sustain it, and that extra 10% allows you the flexibility to eat whatever you want, so again, you can sustain this diet long term. Sustainability is key so you don't burn out, and so you can keep the results even long after you get them. For the whole food structure, choose proteins you like, whether it's beef, eggs, chicken. Then choose fats you like, whether it's avocado, nuts, raw cheese. And then carbs you like, sourdough, potato, rice. The more repeatable you can make your meals, the easier it is to structure them and stick with them long term. Some limiting beliefs you must shatter is that you do not need to eat everything in sight to grow. Eat to grow is a myth. That's exactly how you get fat, not jacked. Stop thinking you need to cut later on. If you do that, you're literally just extending your timeline, and you want to get the results as fast as you can. And you don't deserve to eat like an idiot because you're bulking. Bulking needs to be strategic and intentional. So add muscle slowly, stay lean, and avoid any unnecessary fat gain. Point 5, you need a controlled calorie surplus, and you have to be strategic with your nutrition. I'm gonna tell you exactly what you have to do. You wanna build muscle slowly, so you should be in roughly 150 to a 300 calorie surplus. So the first step, you have to find your maintenance, so you can go to a website called tdeecalculator.net. Give it your health information, and it's gonna give you roughly your maintenance calories. Once you have the maintenance calories, you wanna add 150 to 300 calories from there. This is just enough to grow without getting fat. Protein is gonna be the most important macronutrient that you need to grow. And the protein target that you wanna have is 1 gram per pound of desired body weight, not your current body weight. Let's say you're 170 and you wanna be 185 lean, you must be eating 185 grams of protein per day. Another massive lever you can pull is carb timing. Prioritize your carbs around your training. You want carbs pre-workout for energy in the gym and post-workout for refilling your glycogen stores and for recovery. So if you're working out early in the morning before work, have some carbs before the gym, or if you like to train fasted, make sure you're at least getting them in post post-workout. Carbs are your body's primary fuel source for energy, so if you want to push heavy in the gym, you need the carbs to do it. Carbs are also going to replenish your glycogen stores post-workout, which is going to aid in recovery. And overall, they're going to enhance your muscle fullness. The reason this works is because a controlled surplus equals gains without fat. High protein is going to ensure that you're getting maximal muscle retention and growth. And timing your carbs right is going to ensure that you're getting better nutrient partitioning, meaning your body will do a better job distributing those carbs into muscle as opposed to fat. Some beliefs you have to shatter is that if you eat more, you will get fat. That's wrong. If you overdo the surplus, you'll get fat. You don't need an extra 1,000 calories, right? Because that's only going to make you gain fat, not muscle. If tracking is too complicated, it's exactly why you're stuck. You're guessing, you're winging it, and that's why you're not getting results. You can use an app like MyFitnessPal to track your macros, and you don't even have to weigh every gram. You just use it as a food log so you can have a guide basically explaining how much you've eaten and how much you need to eat. Have a small surplus, carb timing, adequate protein, and you'll see the gains that you want. Overall, I want you to make sure that you're shifting your identity into the version of you who has the muscle and is lean, so that the training and the nutrition just becomes part of who you are. When you follow what I've just laid out, you will add muscle without getting fluffy. Your waist will stay tight. You won't need a massive cut later. You'll look a lot fuller and denser and stronger. And now you're being strategic the same way you are with your business, with your fitness. Building muscle will stop feeling random, and the more clarity you have, the easier it's going to be for you to show up and execute. You don't need motivation when you have structure. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have plenty of other videos helping you become the best version of yourself, and I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Peace.